traveling with the dogs back and forth. It's just not convenient yet. This is actually where we started to think like, okay, we did so many visits, we visited so many facilities, but there was not one facility where my dog would not be a number. To be really honest, a doggy daycare and boarding facility in Dubai was my childhood dream.
You were saying something about transparency.
Yes.
That is a very common thing, like topic.
Yes.
In Dubai. Everything is oriented towards business.
What we really stand for is that we have our tailor-made programs, indeed based on the breed specifically, what do they actually need, but also our biggest focus is the emotional well-being of a dog.
In Dubai, it's not the same thing as if you're in the Netherlands or if you are... And it's not only about the land, it's about the mentality.
What I always find quite shocking, I must say, when we go back to Europe, for example, whatever breed it is, when you are in the bigger cities, you see them all walking past each other, like everyone respects everyone. You don't see any issues, you don't see any reactivity, right? That's also what you would say in Italy. Here on the streets, I mean, okay, it's less common here to be around with dogs, but still, here on the streets in the parks, you see something completely different.
I want to start this podcast by saying how grateful I feel I am because we reached an unreasonable amount of subscribers in only 1 month. And for this reason, only just a few minutes ago, I wrote a few words for you guys. And if you don't mind, I want to start this podcast like that. When I started Between the Lines, I would never have thought I would grow this fast in such a short amount of time. And the reason why I did not believe is because as all of us, we have this part of our mind always ready to sabotage ourselves. But one thing is absolutely evident. We are succeeding in this because we are tired of gimmick and we want to live a life with purpose, bringing reality to the table, not facade. So I initiated it, but my guests are supporting it. And most important, you who subscribed and you continue subscribing to this channel. And you, because you are embracing the value of this project fully. And I feel very grateful for that. So today we have Michelle. And really, I'm super excited. I cannot imagine. How can I introduce you? I can say that you are the person that I trust the most in a pet environment. Yeah, I don't know if I shared that with you, but I've started long time ago, even before I got my dog, to research the best trainer, the best daycare for boarding, for the daycare facility, and it was a nightmare. It was really complicated. So now that's the reason why we have you. I have you in my life, and Kobe, my dog, who you guys you mostly say in my stories. That's why we have you you and your husband.
Yeah.
In our life. Tell me how you want to introduce yourself.
I think by starting, of course, just with the basics. So my name is Michelle. I'm 30 years old and I'm in Dubai now for about 6 years. And indeed, I think this one, by the way, was long overdue. Huh? We planned to do this podcast
long time ago,
quite some time.
Yeah,
but we managed. So I'm super excited. Honestly, I'm very curious about your questions. Of course, I know you by now and can go left, right, center, and everywhere. So I'm very curious and super excited for today.
So tell me when you started. Like, what was the idea?
I mean, I think beginning of 2024, it actually started by a frustration of ours. So we were on a holiday, short holiday, and we were thinking and actually planning a trip for over the summer where we would be leaving for a couple of weeks back to Europe. And then we started to think, like, where are we going to bring Lion and Simba, so both my dogs, where I feel actually comfortable, and it should be a place which I actually trust for a longer period of time. And that's actually when the frustration bit started, because I was thinking, I tried so many places by now and I cannot even find one. That's a big problem, because traveling with the dogs back and forth, it's just not convenient yet, unfortunately. So this is actually where we started to think like, okay, we did so many visits, we visited so many facilities, but there was not one facility where my dog would not be a number. So, and this was something that for me was like the most important thing. How can I leave them for a couple of weeks without knowing they are actually comfortable, they are happy, they are safe? And what I really missed, especially in Dubai, was like the transparency. So this is where we actually started, by creating a concept to have our dogs in a safe place when we are away, basically building it for ourselves. And then, of course, we decided, okay, why let's not go for a business instead and have other people enjoying the same, what actually was missing in Dubai at that point.
How long have you been in Dubai?
About 6 years.
So 6 years. And before starting this business, you were doing...
I was in logistics all the time, like operations. So something completely different. But I mean, to be really honest, a doggy daycare and boarding facility in Dubai was my childhood dream. You can ask my family and friends. It's really funny. And when we found the place that we are in now, the facility, back in May 2024, when I walked in there, you cannot imagine, I told my husband, like, this is it. Like, and it's not going to be any other place, because we had the natural light and everything, and I just saw it happening. And that's actually the moment when we were like, okay, let's give it a go and go for it.
You were saying something about transparency.
Yes.
That is a very common thing, like topic.
Yes.
In Dubai. What do you say about that? What do you think?
I mean, I think what is transparency, right? I mean, for me, it might have a completely different meaning than it has for many other people in Dubai. For me, it's something that starts from trust. And when I cannot trust people, what is then transparency? So transparency for me is, for example, related to with my dogs, for example, that someone tells me how they actually feel. If they are not in the mood for a day, if they feel down, if they are like tired or not in the mood, I want them to tell me. I don't want to receive messages and pictures saying that my dogs are happy and having so much fun, even though, and I can see from their eyes, they are not, And I think we, as being both Dutch, me and my husband, I think most of the people know that we are quite direct. And that helps in the transparency, because I will tell our clients if a dog is not behaving, if they are not in the mood. I will tell them, because why should I tell people that they are all happy, healthy, and even if I see they are not, it's about a lie. For us, it's not about getting this business ramped up as soon as possible. It's about building trust with our clients. It's about building this community where they actually trust us, with their babies. So I think it goes quite far, to be honest.
It goes quite far, but it goes to the right direction, because if I might share this, when I started researching and then, of course, engaging Kobe with different dogs and, in other daycares, when you say the word transparency, it's what hits me in my mind is the fact that everything is oriented towards business. And I have to say, Dubai is not easy. It's not an easy place for that, because we live 8 months maybe where the dogs can just run outdoor, and the other months, no. So it's not only about boarding, where maybe in my country or in your country, people, there are clients who want to leave, they have to leave their dogs and then go on holiday. Here is also about the fact that dogs need, especially large breeds, especially my
like
breed, like Kobe, Weimaraners, or any other hunting dog.
True, yeah.
They really need to have, to stretch their legs. But what is incredible is the fact that you created something starting from focusing on the breed.
Yes.
Not only, of course, you have to make money. It's business.
Of course.
It's also about that. But what I feel is that you started from a different perspective.
True. So what I think, and this is basically the core value of our concept as well, is the personalized care and actually their respect also towards the dogs. It's about treating them as an individual, not like many people in Dubai. Unfortunately, we all know this. It's not an accessory, right? It's an individual, and they need to treat it that way. So what we really stand for is that we have our tailor-made programs, indeed based on the breed specifically. What do they actually need? But also our biggest focus is the emotional well-being of a dog, because in general, what we see a lot in Dubai is that they are treated all the same way, but they should not. Some dogs need 30 minutes exercise a day, some need 2 hours. And then it's not about the energy in exercise, it's about the enrichment, right? So it's very...
Explain what is enrichment.
So basically, in our terms, I would say it's the perfect balance between the physical and the mental part of the dog. So the enrichment is, in our sense, it's a program that we have in place where we try to balance it out in the most perfect way. So boarding is actually the best example to give you. So when we get clients, of course, we want to copy and paste their home routine, especially for boarding for longer periods of time. But at home, they might be just having a walk in the morning and a walk in the evening, maybe 20, 30 minutes of playtime with the owner during the day. But in Dubai, a lot of people are just walking the entire day, right? So the dog will not even get the enrichment, which they should get initially. So in our concept, we built this in, that we actually in the trial day try to see, okay, how much rest does this dog specifically needs? What about the physical exercise? What about the mental exercise? For me, for example, I have two actually completely the same dogs, if you see them, but they are completely the opposite in their characters and what they actually need.
You mean the same breed?
Yes, both 2 mini poodles. They look the same, same weight,
dogs.
Same age, yes, everything. But they need something completely different. And this is where the enrichment comes in. For one of my dogs, he needs a bit more physical exercise, where the other one is almost completely on the mental, because physical for him, it's not helping, you know? So I believe that making basically programs tailor-made to a certain dog to let them also feel unique, and this is also what the owners in Dubai actually want. The problem, I believe, is, or it's not a problem, it's a challenge. A lot of people in Dubai are getting dogs for the first time, because maybe they're not used to it from back home. So they don't know what's available in the market. And maybe they believe that the concept with one approach is just the offering, right? So a lot of people, unfortunately, don't understand yet that there is much more behind it. It's not just getting a dog, that the exercise is important. But it's good to see that now more and more people start to understand that the mental part in the enrichment is actually even more important to have a happy and calm dog at home as well.
You know, there is when you say there is a lot behind, it's another thing that clicked in my mind, is the fact that a lot of people, they don't really have the necessary knowledge of either the breed or what they have to, there has to be done for a dog, with a dog. And in my case, I can put myself in this as well, because I try my best to, analyze every single thing. But I spent so many hours, and I have a beautiful relationship with my breeders, Kobe's breeders in Italy. And they're fully dedicated to this breed. But then there is one thing that is absolutely, it has to be experienced, is the fact that when you arrive in Dubai, it's not the same thing as if you're in the Netherlands, or if you are, and it's not only about the land, it's about the mentality.
Yes.
What can you say about that?
I mean, to be really honest, what I always find quite shocking, I must say, when we go back to Europe, for example, whatever breed it is, when you are in the bigger cities, you see them all walking past each other. Like everyone respects everyone. You don't see any issues. You don't see any reactivity, right? That's also what you would say in Italy. Here on the streets, I mean, okay, it's less common here to be around with dogs, but still here on the streets in the parks, you see something completely different. And why is that? In my opinion, because I mean, Dubai is really getting there, and they're making huge steps, which is honestly, it's great to see. However, I think what takes a bit of time is that we still have so many different cultures here, so many different beliefs around dogs and stuff. And this makes it more difficult to step up this game in the pet industry in the pace that we actually want it to go. Because a lot of people are afraid of dogs. A lot of people don't consider dogs as pets, how like we grew up, you know? So also the dogs feel this. When you would walk outside and you pass, for example, a group of people that are actually not in a relationship with dogs in general, how we are in, the dog will feel it. It will not help them to calm them down in like a reactive approach, for example, right? So this is what I see is the biggest difference. It's the people. It's not about the behavior of the dog because there is a root cause why this behavior is showing. I think this is the biggest difference, I would say, between where we are now and the situation we are in compared to how it is in Europe, in bigger cities, and how pet-friendly they are.
Yeah, I cannot agree more with you about that. It's not something that you can see that is very visible.
Yes.
Well, yeah, maybe in terms of reaction, like how a dog reacts in this country rather than in like the person reacts.
Yes.
But it's something that in the end of the day, we need to take in a very careful consideration, because in the end of the day, it is absolutely true and is absolutely a matter of fact that we live in a country that is multicultural.
Yes.
Where the majority doesn't have the same confidence as we've been brought up with in our countries. And what is the evidence of this is the fact that, you know, we can experience very bad stuff. For example, I had the experience of Kobe jumping on someone, but not because he wanted to be aggressive towards that person, but because of his reactivity. Yeah. And the guy was just jogging, by the way, along the dog beach, which is allowed because human beings are allowed, but they have to also understand that it's a dog beach, and the reactive dogs are absolutely normal dogs.
True,
there is absolutely nothing wrong with that.
I agree.
So then I ended up in a very, awkward situation because he started shouting at me. You have to be more, you have to try hard. What can you say about that? When someone say you have to try harder with your dog if he does not understand?
I mean, for me, these kind of comments, I would say, are always a little bit tough, because in one way, I want to take it personally and give my honest opinion about it. But what we are trying to do, and this is also what we really try to do at the dog retreat, sometimes we hear and we see stuff that we are not in line with, that we don't agree with. But making it a shamed thing, instead, we try to do it like the educational way, explaining these kind of people also why dogs are like this. For example, if you have a couple of dogs playing and all of a sudden a guy comes sprinting or running across, it triggers, right? It triggers. It would be the same with us. Imagine now someone comes running by. We will be like, oh, what is happening? This is normal. This is logic. But these people most probably don't have dogs themselves, didn't grow up around dogs, they don't know about it. So it shouldn't be a blame, and that's what we are trying to teach a lot of people.
How do you educate your clients?
I mean, it starts to be really honest from the introduction. So what we try to do is, with all the new clients that come to us, at least to spend a good 1.5 hours, because we really want to understand who the clients are. If we can understand the clients, then we can also understand the dog's behavior a little bit more. So for us, it's important to understand like all the details about it. It starts with their routine, with the structure they have at home, but also, for example, the feeding. Some clients might come in with meal toppers only. So we want to educate them that should be a top up, So it's education starts really from like the most basic things.
So they bring the toppers only to eat?
I can tell you 20 different examples, but this is actually, in regards to the education where it starts, yes, it's actually there. It's about helping them with the feeding, helping them with get the vaccinations up to date. What is actually required in Dubai? What is needed, and what is needed additionally for daycare? For example, like the kennel cuff, like the pills we talked about earlier for the Bravecto, for example. A lot of these things people don't know, like new dog owners don't know, because there is not like a book or anything you can just get and go from step by step. This is how you get your dog ready for XYZ, right? So this education starts really from the scratch. Some people come in, they have the knowledge that they should have. They even are they're on the same page as we are, for example. For them, it's more focusing on the structure. Okay, where are you coming from? When did you get the dog? Maybe during COVID, could be the case, right? But now the situation is different. We are back to work. We are now left with an anxious dog, with like a huge separation anxiety. What do we do? So it really depends. Like every client that comes in can be put, like, let's say, in a different basket. Like, okay, here we need to start from scratch. Here we can start from a certain other point. So and honestly, it's really interesting. And this is actually what makes my passion project even more interesting.
Oh, for sure.
It's honestly, it's amazing to see like the progress, and it's really cool. It's really cool, honestly.
And what I can imagine could be also very challenging is the fact that you have to deal with pure breeds.
Yes.
And mixed breeds and street dogs.
Yes.
What about that?
I mean, I think in general in Dubai, what we unfortunately see is a lot of stray dogs, right? So we have a lot of adopted dogs, often indeed the desert mix is how we call it here. They need a different approach, yes, because they have a traumatic past, most of them at least. For example, one of my dogs, we rescued, Simba, the second one. He was dumped on the streets near the Sheikh Zayed Road, and luckily someone found him and he was brought to us for foster. But he's so damaged. I mean, it's damaged. It's just it's a trauma, right? So these dogs, you cannot just put them in a pack because they will be terrified, most probably. So for all these
So what do you do?
So what we do different, for example, compared to other facilities, it's the introductions. In a lot of facilities, for example, the dogs get introduced to the pack from the start. And we believe that the dog should be introduced to the handler first. So we actually start a trial day with a proper handler intro. The dog needs to find kind of a bond with the handler to start. Because how can you put a dog within a pack without this specific dog being bonded with a handler, like a trusty person where they can go to if they feel any discomfort?
True.
So it's very weird if you think about it this way, right? So let's say a new dog comes for daycare or boarding. You cannot just put this dog in the pack. First, you need to read the language. You need to speak dog, basically, with this certain dog, because you cannot know upfront how this dog is going to behave. So that's why we need all the time with the parents, like with the pet parents upfront, to actually understand what the background is. Then, after the handler introduction is kind of finalized, which for shy and anxious dogs might take up to 3 hours even, only then we will start to introduce other dogs, and that will go in the area what that dog is in at that point. So other dogs will come to this dog. So he will not miss and lose out on his, like, he will not be insecure that quickly, because he knows this place is mine now. I have a trustworthy person here next to me. If a dog comes in, it's going to be fine, because he knows he's like kind of the boss of that area at that moment already. If you introduce that way, it goes much better, and that dog might feel confident even from day one. One by one, you can introduce, maybe for some dogs on a trial day, we can only go up to introducing 4 other dogs. For some, we can even introduce them to the pack. It really depends. And I think this is the same with, for example, the morning routines in our facility. In the morning, the supervisors are checking, okay, these are the dogs boarding with us. Who is going to come down first? Because honestly, I can tell you, it sets the tone of the day if you bring the alphas out first. So there is so much more behind the way it's managed, I would say, that of course a lot of people don't know. But I believe it's important to share all this information with our clients, for them also to understand how we actually deal with certain situations, right?
Well, this is absolutely incredible. I've never heard, really.
That's what it's a bit more like behind the scenes, yeah.
But behind your scenes,
yeah.
Because I'm speechless. Like, I know different daycares, and Kobe is confident and he likes to play and has no problem as a child. That children who maybe are a little bit more picky with certain people is absolutely fine. But I can really see the difference in terms of his reaction, and also in terms of how you structure the introduction of the dog to the pack or to the people. And the fact that you said that there is an introduction to the handler first, until when there is no trust established, there is no introduction to the pack.
It's common sense, right?
It is, Michelle, but it's something that I'd never seen.
I know.
Really?
But honestly, Lucia, this goes with so many things so far. It comes back to the artificial grass. It comes back to the swimming pools. It comes back to the outdoor areas.
Well, let's talk about the artificial grass.
What do you want to know?
I want to know this. This is just a bling bling, whatever gimmick stuff that, because we love the green.
Yeah.
We love seeing vegetations.
Yeah.
Yeah. But artificial green stuff, grass, is not real.
I mean, I think in general, but these kind of topics, it's really funny when we touch base on these with our clients. The moment we start to explain, they're like, oh my God, I never thought about this. It's easy. I mean, artificial grass, especially when you have it in indoor facilities, it looks amazing. Honestly, it looks amazing. It looks much better than our plain floors in our facility. I agree with that. But is it about the looks, or is it about what's actually important for the dogs?
What about the bacteria?
This is the biggest topic. I mean, tell me, how can I clean artificial grass if I don't change it overnight every single night? I can tell you, we have F10, which is the best possible cleaning material in pet daycares in Dubai. You cannot clean artificial grass. They might tell you, they spray it, they clean it. Honestly, Lucia, it's tangled in, right? If there is diarrhea, if there is pee all day long, how can they clean it? This is also the smell that comes from the artificial grass. We also went to different facilities with artificial grass, obviously. When the dogs come back, they smell like, it's just not hygienic at all. And it's full of bacteria and viruses. So, what's really funny? And this is a story I tell to so many people, but it's the truth, and I was shocked. After the first peak that we had, I would say, during Christmas, I got a couple of phone calls from customers, dogs staying with us over Christmas, thanking us for their dogs being so happy and healthy and not sick. And I was honestly shocked, because I was like, of course your dog is not sick. Like, what are you saying? Yeah, but we experience so many different topics, so many different stories. We have so many different experiences. And at that point, me and my husband were like, okay, what we are doing it good. It's not about the looks anymore. I mean, yes, we could have gained 200% more customers by now if we would have built our facility on looks only. Because in the end, that's what sells, right? The looks, and that's what people want. But a dog doesn't care about the aesthetics of a facility. What they care about is the structure, the routine they have, the enrichment, like the tailor-made exercises made breed specifically. That's where it's all about.
Yeah, it's 100%. 100%, especially because a dog doesn't really consider the grass, the fake grass.
Yes.
It consider like a floor, like a normal tiles.
Yeah. I mean, they might have, of course, the feeling a bit that it feels a bit more outside-ish, But it's also about teaching them, because the dog's staying
plastic.
with us. They know where they can do their stuff, And it's, for us, it's just the artificial grass. Yes, it looks better, and yes, when we started, we love to have it. We explored different kind of options, but I can just not take that risk. I mean, safety and hygienics, I would say, is like two of our core values. I mean, how can I put that on risk by placing artificial grass?
I want to go back to the reactivity.
Yes.
Because this is my... So I would love to know, how do you introduce a reactive dog? I don't want to label my dog a reactive dog. Okay, let's put it this way. I don't want to do that, because this is just
a reactive dog.
It's not about
He's
that.
just a bit more alpha, and a bit more confident than many others.
That's a matter of fact, and I knew it since the very beginning when my husband told me, I want this dog, and I said, okay, fair enough. Are you sure about that? And also our breeders told us, like, you want it.
Yeah.
But apart from this, like, I mean, I'm not a dog expert. I don't know the super technical words, but let's say a reactive.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you introduce him to a pack?
For us, it depends a little bit. Okay, so let's consider the handler trial is done, right? The handler introduction is done. Everything went well. We start introducing now to the other dogs. For me, we have in our facility, I can name a couple of dogs that we prefer always using for trials, for example. Dogs that I know that well, that I know whatever they encounter with a reactive dog, they won't be even bothered. They will just turn their faces and be like, what are you doing? You know? So you need to know, you basically need to understand of all the dogs staying with you, what you can expect from every single dog. And this you can only know if you know them by yourself or by heart. So that's where it starts. For me, a reactive dog is completely different when the owners are not around. You told me in the beginning with Kobe, yeah? Kobe might be a little bit reactive. The moment the owners are not around, it happens that the dog is the opposite, that he's a real angel inside. But okay, let's imagine we are now speaking about a reactive dog. Back to the question. We introduce them first to a dog that is not bothered by any other dogs in general. A dog that is more into people, into humans, than it is into dogs, I would say. I can tell you, it's usually a success. As long as they are off leash. And of course, with the supervision in place. What we do then is, depending if it's a male or female, if it's, for example, for Kobe, just as to use that example, it's easier to introduce him to some females first because he will be much more confident. And increasing from, let's say, 5 to 10 dogs, then you are over that line. The more dogs, the more easier, I would say, it becomes, especially for a reactive dog, because he is not focusing on one single target anymore, right? So he loses a little bit of his focus and he starts also to become more relaxed, 9 out of the 10 cases. You have very reactive dogs. Like, to be honest, we also said no to new clients a couple of times of dogs which came into the reception, nipping their owners, and where I did not feel safe about with my handlers. And then I'm not talking about the other dogs. So yes, this also happens. I don't want to accept everybody because I want to have as many dogs as I can. No, if it's not safe for the pack, then I will just give them the honest advice to start training on certain things with the right people. And training, like in our facility, we don't offer, for example, training and grooming because I believe it's just way too stressful. But that is actually where it starts. So we don't encounter, I would say, examples with like super reactive, unsocialized dogs. Because if I see from the start it's going to be a risk for the rest of my pack, I can unfortunately not allow them to come in. It's like, no, honestly, because I don't want to put any of the other dogs on risk either, right?
But are you planning to do the training or not?
I mean,
there is a part of you that I see, that me, I read.
Yes,
I don't know if
true.
I don't want to do, I don't want to specialize in many things. Yes. Isn't it?
Yes. The thing is with the training, it's a bit a different story because yes, I would love to go a bit deeper, but not this year, maybe in the next years. I would love to go a bit deeper with some good trainers, maybe from the Netherlands or from Europe, if we can find the right people, to go a bit more into the behavioral part of the dogs. Because I think that's where most of the root causes are, right? Showing then reactivity, showing X, Y, Z. But I would not consider that as training. I would consider that more as like an educational part that we can then offer additionally to help the owners getting their dogs more in a place where the owner wants the dog to be. I don't want to be this facility that offers training like obedience training. Okay, this is how a dog sits, go down, turns around, these kind of things. No, I'm not into that because it's just, for me, it's not an added value. There are so many people offering this and it's done in so many different ways. Of course, this is also something where we can say something about because there are so many different ways even these things are taught. And I believe, some are done in a more positive reinforcement way, but also some are the opposite, right? So that's very, I would say, subjective to a lot of people, and especially to people that have owners that have dogs for many years already, because they will understand what the difference is. I wouldn't focus on that. I would really focus on the behavioral parts and deep dive there more, because what we see here a lot is dogs that are imported, for example, and I'm not speaking about imported from like the best breeders in Europe. I'm speaking about imported and here sold in like local shops and stuff. Besides that, all the stray dogs, all the rescue dogs, they have issues. They do have issues, but it often comes out like in unexpected moments, but the root cause, that's where it's all about. And I would love to focus more on that, like along the way, having the right people in place, and that we can actually start to support like a way bigger community, not only customers that come to our facility, but also wider, to teach them more about what is actually like behind certain behaviors. Because we always try, and I think especially in Dubai, what I see a lot is we train to stop certain things.
We train?
Like a lot of trainers in general, and also in facilities, what I see is we train to stop certain behaviors, right? But I'm not behind this, because I believe we need to find the root cause first. You cannot train on certain things, make them stop doing certain, showing certain behavior if we don't know the root cause, because that's not going to last for long. That's a temporary fix, and after 2 months you are back to where you started, you know? So I think this is a bit in line with the concept that we offer in our facility, which is different than the others, and it's more about the
When you say going to the roots, is a very well. There is a lot of details to say about that, because, for example, when we have when we talk about certain behavior, the first thing that comes from a trainer, what I've seen so far, is control.
Yeah.
When you talk about going to the roots, you are actually investigating what is the cause. That can be genetic, it can be personality, there can be many other, his background. But you are focusing on the behavior, like changing, understanding why and how to make him or her improve, which is, let's say, more human. Yes. Rather than just controlling. It reminds me of, I always make the comparison with the kids, but it reminds me of, there are all this, there's a lot of advertisement about kids watching the iPad, and then you have the app. You can stop. Well, that's too easy to control. But are you actually switching off the tendency? I'm not sure. No, you're just controlling. So I do see this analogy.
Yes, no, but you're right. Yeah,
it's incredible, because in the end of the day, it's all about, the easiest thing is control. And another thing, this leads me to another topic. I want to ask you, neutering. Spay, snipping, whatever.
Yeah. I think, we actually...
It's huge. It's really a huge topic.
Yeah, it's a huge topic. And I think it's a bit of a... I think it's also quite of a sensitive topic in Dubai. And why? Because we have so many stray dogs going around, So the advertisement, I believe, that comes out is to make sure that the dogs are sprayed and nurtured. But that is being said for a reason. Because we cannot have more strays. We cannot have XYZ. But I have the feeling that it's advised often to people that, of which the vets know that are actually good people with the dog in good hands, And I think we should look a bit further. For example, with my 2 dogs, one was, when we always get the suggestion, right? Okay, he's now at this age. Do you want to neuter him? Yes or no? So we decided yes, for certain reasons. Did the dog change after 6 months? 0, not at all. If you would now go to your vet for, let's say, the vaccinations or whatever, most probably they will advise you to neuter him because he is maybe showing reactive behavior or XYZ. But that is no guarantee at all. You will most probably see that nothing will even change. What happened, for example, to my other dog, Simba? He was very shy. It's the rescued one. But because it's from this rescue program, they will neuter him before you can actually adopt, because they want to make sure, it's a purebred poodle, that you are not going to breed, which is more than logic. What happened to him? The opposite. He became more insecure. He became more shy. So there is way more to think about than only making a decision, yes or no. It will help. It will make my dog more relaxed, more safer in the future, preventing more illnesses. Yes, it's true. But is it really the best for your dog to do? You know?
I think it's the easiest way to think. It's the easiest. You know, it's like if the dog is like this or it's like that, then let's snip him. It will calm down.
But I mean, think about it. It's not normal, right? If you go like into this topic too far, it will drive me crazy. But I would start comparing it to human. You get where we're going, right? Like this should not be just a choice of us over, you know.
It looks like a bit like, oh, my hair is not growing. Let's put extensions.
Yeah. For example, yes.
That is, we human beings are amazing. You know, we always try to find some shortcut.
True.
I mean, I'm not saying that there are not maybe reasons, you know, good reasons to neuter a dog. For example, when there's a high level of testosterone, which is declared, is one thing. But a very good breeder will always say, I am against that because there is no point unless there are certain disease.
Exactly. That's what I believe too, to be honest. And that's also why we allow unneutered dogs inside our facility, because I don't believe in the fact that they all need to be neutered. I mean, if there is proper supervision in place, okay, you of course have some types of dogs that will come, like it will happen to us one day as well, that the client will come in, unneutered dog, and you will see that based on the fact that he's not neutered, he can show certain behavior towards other female dogs, for example, right? It might happen, but then it's just us being transparent and honest towards the client. Like, hey, this is what we notice. We will separate the dog, for example, because I cannot have a dog inside that keeps on bothering the others, you know? So, and then it's a different story, because then it will help if you do it, you know? So
yeah, but I believe that most of the times it's behavioral. It's not something physiological, like a high level of testosterone can be. I don't know. I'm just ignorant about that. But it's like this old story about, you know, the kids, about the ADHD. Everyone is ADHD. Everyone is hyperactive.
We have
everyone
something.
Then you dig in the real topic about, you know, the dynamic of the family, and then it turns out that the kid is spoiled because, and then the nutrition, and then the soft drinks, and then
it goes like
lack of sleep.
Yeah.
So there is a lot to say. It's always like an easy way out to say, okay, you know what? I'd always also neuter them. And nothing changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask you one thing about the. Do you have some funny stuff that happened in your facility?
I think I have too much, to be honest.
Really?
You mean like in terms of like customer requests or something? Or?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think like recent stuff. Yeah, honestly. Okay. I mean, obviously we are in all the group chats, right? We as owners as well, because I feel it's important just to follow up with whatever client has dogs boarding with us.
Client is client.
Exactly. So a couple of weeks ago, I got a message, but it was like at 11:30 in the evening. I mean, let's start that in general in Dubai, a lot of facilities are not replying after 7 because the reception is closed, right? So that's what we try to do extra as well. I want to be available 24/7 because these people trust us. If they want to ask something or they want us to check on the dogs, I want to be there to actually do what they ask. So I got this message from a couple, and they were like, can you please feed my dog some ice cream? And I was like, I mean, sure. I mean, if that's what, of course I can feed him some ice cream, but you know it's almost midnight by now. Yeah, but he just loves ice cream. And for example, this certain specific dog, he is already quite overweighted. So I cannot say no, I mean, you know, I cannot say no to the customer, but I can try to explain them that maybe waking the dog up midnight for an ice cream is not the best idea. We have clients coming in that ask for a certain type of jazz music when the dogs go to bed because they can only sleep with certain music on.
Amazing.
We get clients that want to decorate the boarding rooms. They want to hang like canvases, like photos of the family. Like they want to put like wallpaper and stuff.
So sweet.
Honestly, I think by now we almost got it all. It's honestly, it's really funny sometimes. But I mean, we always try to think along. That's the most important. But for sometimes we are like, this is not a best idea, but let's go for it.
And what about something that you really struggle with, something that you, out of your honesty, what is the most difficult part of this job?
The most difficult part of this job? For me, it comes to actually a very simple thing. I'm always very concerned on all the dogs staying with us in terms of health, eating, like all basic stuffs. Concerned in a good way. So, of course, we have the reporting a couple of times a day on the feeding. Sometimes I see that the dog only ate half. Let's say half of the kibble, right? This is the part which concerns me most of the time most. Sometimes owners come in and they are like, we had a very good example. We had a couple coming in and they have not been on holiday for years because they did not find a place that they could actually trust with their two girls, two small doggies. And she told me up front, like, Michelle, I know when my dog is in a new environment, she will not eat for a couple of days. It's fine. Mm. And I was like, this is not fine. And I will take the challenge. I'm going to take this challenge because it's not fine.
What do you think is not fine in your opinion? The fact that the dog won't eat for a couple of days, or the fact that you consider it normal?
No, that's fine. Honestly, that's fine because I know if a dog is in a new environment, it sometimes can happen that the first 1 or 2 nights they will not eat. It can happen. It's normal. And I know most of the owners, they know about it. And they also know that the dogs are completely fine. It's just how they deal with like certain new situations. But for me, it's always more that it comes in and I'm like, okay, so I will be so much on top of this specific dog that we will find the way that the dog eats. So the second or the third day, the owner actually texted us and called us and let's say, can you tell me a bit about the eating? I'm so scared. And I'm like, no need to be scared about. And I literally shared with her a video. We have one girl on the team and she is amazing with feeding. And it's not a joke. The most stubborn dogs with eating, the most picky ones, eat with her. She makes like a whole ritual out of it. She sings songs. She brings it in such a calming and comforting way that it's not a joke. All the dogs start to eat. So I shared this video to the customer saying like, I mean, she is eating from evening too. And she is like, oh my, what? Like, what? Can you send me another video? So yeah, sure. So it's for us and for me, and that is also what for me it's the most difficult thing because I take all the challenges that some pet parents see very serious, and I want them to help them either overcome or solve it or fix it in a way. But of course, we are also limited. Some dogs stay with us for a couple of days, but still, I want to put so much effort to actually make that difference, and that sometimes is, I think, the hardest part. Because whenever you take all these small cases so personal, it also becomes, I wouldn't say a burden because it's the opposite. But sometimes it becomes like you have 50 dogs of your own. But that's when it comes down to, it's really a passion project of mine. So we do have these clients coming in and we do take these like comments so serious that we also want to prove that they are good with us, that they are happy, that they are calm, that they are relaxed, and that they are actually eating.
Right.
So it's it's just taking that extra mile constantly, But that's sometimes the most tough thing because in some cases it's just not an easy fix, and you need to think about ways how to actually manage.
It is absolutely not an easy fix, but you make it simple because it's something coming from really your passion. But it's not, guys, this is not only about passion. It's the purpose with which we live our life, and I can't be more grateful, to have. We need to close this conversation. We can have so many. So many.
We can speak for hours.
popping in my mind, but okay. Just a few words before ending this conversation. I mean, she hasn't paid me for this, just to be clear. But to be honest, with all my heart, go and check the dog retreat on Instagram, because even me in the beginning, you remember, because I come from this background, of many, lots of research, and she had to earn my trust. Really, she had to earn my trust, and it happened in maybe 24 hours. So really, thank you so much for being in my life. And guys, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because we will have so many other beautiful conversations like this one with Michelle. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.